and Sara, or Tegan and Sara, from Canada. Sara lives in Montreal, Quebec, and I live in Vancouver, British Columbia. It's so hard to say when you're in the band what makes one record different from another. I definitely think that there's more of a rock band feeling to this album because we recorded a lot of the songs live, like as a band, instead of doing things very individually. But I think that there was just a real emphasis and focus on writing great pop songs, rock songs, and making an album that our fans would really like. It's our 6th album, and we have a pretty good idea now what people that listen to our music want to hear, and we also know what we like to perform when we're playing live in different cities, and so we tried to make an album that would work really well in both of those cases. Why did we choose Hell? Well, the record label thought it was a good starting single, because it's pretty heavy rock, but it's catchy. I know for me personally, I really like the song. I think it's a bit different than what we've done before. It's a little more straight ahead. It's also a song that I wrote with someone else, and then Sara and I took it and turned it into a Tegan and Sara song. So that's the first time we've ever done something like that. And we've been making music for 14 years, so it's really cool to uncover new ground and do new things. So yeah, and I think people like the song. I think some of the elements of the rock song or whatever are new for us, but overall it's still Tegan and Sara. That like our music, they dress like us, but we just sort of, I think that we sort of symbolize an approval, we look like them, they look like us, so it's it all works. But there are days where I'm like, damn it, they all have my shoes, I gotta get new shoes, or with my haircut, I'll get a new haircut, and then I'll start seeing everybody getting that haircut, and I'll think okay, now I gotta think of a different haircut. I have been sort of growing, I've been growing sections of it out because I already know what my next haircut is, but for the time being I have to wear the same haircut, and then I'm not mad at people for getting the haircut. I like the haircut. In fact, what I end up usually doing is thinking oh, that girl looks better with that haircut than I do. That's usually what I do. But no, I think it's really cool, and I think it's fun, and definitely as we get older and we're more successful, fashion becomes better because you can afford to buy things that you want, and it's not such a, back in the olden days when we first got out of high school, I couldn't afford to shop, I couldn't afford new clothes. Now I really look forward to shopping because I can afford to. Well, I remember I like to take video of our band, and I'm constantly making videos and shooting stuff, and have sort of taken it upon myself to be the documentarian for our organization. And there was a year, I think it was around 2002, where I was filming a lot, and I had this moment where I was cutting footage, and the band, the guys were all wearing stretched out jeans and ugly shirts on stage, and one of the guys looked like he just rolled out of bed, and then we were up there with different weird, I was like, we need to get a look, for the band, and especially at that point, it was because we were playing bars where they were just throwing all sorts of colored lights on us, and because we couldn't have a stylized show, we needed to be stylized, and it was simple. I just was everyone wear black. Let's start that way. Just dress in nice fitting clothes that are black, and everyone will look good. And then we did a backdrop, and so I think that for me, there was a moment where I realized that having sort of almost a uniform, or having a look for the band, even for the guys, they dress completely different than we do, but on stage to have them look like they got ready for the show, and it creates this kind of energy too, where you feel you take it more seriously what you're doing, because you're ironing your shirt before the show, and you're all getting your ready to go on stage, and there's a certain look to the show. So I don't want it to ever feel a performance, or like Britney Spears or Pink, you see these their shows, they're amazing, their costume changes, and there's dancers, and obviously that's not Tegan and Sara, but there's a certain amount of energy you want to put into getting ready to go on stage. These people have paid to see you, and you want to look your best. When we were getting together ideas for this album, we definitely feel people focus on us being twins so much that we wanted to take that and play with it a little bit. So the shot where we're standing together wearing the striped shirts, or one of us is wearing it and I'm holding the board, which ended up becoming the cover, just ended up becoming the cover. It wasn't like a plotted out planned thing. But I'm really glad it did now. I'm seeing like the striped shirts in the audience, and I mean, I can throw a striped shirt on and I'm like a living version of the cover. So stripes are always cool too. I mean, every time they start to kind of like drop out of the mainstream, all of a sudden they're back again. We haven't shot anything yet, so it's hard to know what the next episode will be about. Usually we just try to, once we start capturing footage, then we sort of come up with a theme. But I already sort of have that feeling, I get it every time we decide we're going to shoot footage and have a theme, that by like the 4th or 5th video, I think I'm already over it in a strange way. Like I'm like, okay, what else can we do? Like, let's do a different one. You know? But we'll see what happens. Berlin was really busy, so it'll have to all be shot tonight. So we'll have to think of something entertaining. Maybe it'll be about fashion. I think the biggest thing about being in a band is that it's like any job. Like, you know, we've just been really, really, really highly focused on this release, and the last 2 months have been so intense, and so you start to just feel burned out, I think, in general. Like, the songs right now don't feel fresh to me, and, you know, you see the same people every day, and so it's less about Tegan specifically and more about, like, needing a break to have some perspective on what you're doing. And when, you know, I think everybody goes through these phases. I've seen it with my mom or my friends or whatever, you know, half of the week you're like super invigorated and you love what you do, and then the other half of the week you're like, I can't wait for the weekend, I can't. And I think that's kind of like what it's like to be in our lives. There's this part of you that loves what you do, and then right now we have like 5 days left and I'm thinking about home. Like I'm thinking about like, can't wait to make coffee and listen to records and like lay around in my apartment and like go on vacation, you know? And I think that that's probably what burns me out more than just like a personal thing. Yeah, I think most people who have siblings would relate to that. Like, I'd say like there's 2 or 3 times a year where we like go absolutely batshit crazy and scream and yell, and everyone's like, "Is the band gonna break up?" And then we're over it. So, but we're pretty good. We've learned how to give each other the space that's needed, because we like the band, we love each other, but yeah, spending so much time together, you start to drive each other a little crazy. And I mean, everyone here drives me crazy. It's not just her. At least with her, I can just say, you're annoying, and she's not gonna quit. But if I like went up to some of the people, like when we came in here and all the dirty dishes and the things, I just wanted to get on the radio and be like, what is wrong with all of you? So like, there's those moments, you know. This shirt is a Band of Outsiders, or Boy actually, I think. And these are Subi jeans that I should probably throw away. And I'm wearing these. Ah, the shoes. Which are Rosa Masa, I think. Okay. And very nice. What kind of socks are you wearing? I'm wearing socks from H&M.
Oh, you know that. Good one.
I don't know where my scarf is from. My cardigan, my jacket is Rag and Bone. I got my pants from Topshop. My shoes are Fiorentini and Baker. And my shirt's Ben Sherman. Okay. And my socks are from H&M. No matter which way you... Thanks for having us.